All right, everybody, welcome back to another edition of Fallen Flags of America. Let's get into this. Today, we are at the L&N's Ravenna yard in the early to mid 1970s, and we have a very interesting motive power here, an Alco C420. Now, as a side note, this is not one of VX Monon locomotives. The Monon locomotives, I do believe, were C430s, but I could be wrong. Um, what makes it even more interesting is that it is a high hood locomotive, so it is equipped with the high hood. This is a trademark of Eastern railroads like the Southern and some models on the L&N, but the L&N did not have many high hoods. In fact, most of its locomotives are low hoods, so seeing a high hood on the L&N is quite interesting, but the Southern almost exclusively had their engines of high hoods. The only ones I can think of that were not high hoods, well, actually, these weren't true Southern units, were the GP59s, but there was one that did operate on Norfolk Southern as a Southern heritage unit, but um, it was not a true Southern unit. In fact, it was an NS built unit that was repainted into a Southern commemorative paint scheme, but that was outsourced when Norfolk Southern in 2014 came up with the heritage units, which 20 of were built. Anyway, so to provide a bit of backstory, we are going to go from my desktop over to, where does it say MISC? Okay, and now we are going to go to Google Earth, and I have actually rail fanned on the L&N, L&N NA CSX EK sub, which covers. I think that it may cover Ravenna, but that could be on the CC. I could be wrong, but I do know that there's the EK sub. No, it would be on the CC sub because the EK sub covers Corbin and Winchester and up around that way. That's the EK sub, I do think. Okay, and we're going to type in Ravenna. Search. Now we are going to the Ravenna. Okay, Ravenna, Kentucky. So here we are, guys. We are at the, this is Ravenna right here. And Ravenna, I have never been there before, but this is actually a considerably big town, and it sits right next to Irvine, Kentucky. I think Urban and Ravenna are the same place, but I could be wrong. Now, if you do live in Ravenna and you're watching this video, I do apologize. I have never been to Ravenna before, so if I do get some things wrong, on a side note, please correct me. And do me a favor, guys, keep the comments civil and appropriate because I don't want anyone trying to file claims against this channel or demonetize my channel. So don't put any weird links that just don't need to be there. Please and thank you. Now, on to the video. So, we can see here, Ravenna actually used to be quite a big yard on the L&N. We can see here what could have been the remains of a roundhouse, but then again, I don't see any. But right here, these tracks, this image is old, so it's not exactly accurate. But we can see here that CSX really let this place go because I think the last heavy traffic to run on the track through Ravenna and Irvine and all that area, I think was sometime in the late 90s, but it's kind of sad because the main culprit there has been the demise of coal mines in Kentucky. That's why you've seen a huge closure in just really the EK yard. But anyway, we can see here, this used to be the yard lead, right here to the far left. And then it would have went into the main probably right there, possibly. I don't know. I'm not sure if that was even a track, but we can see here that it used to intersect there, and then we go over here. Now we're coming into the yard, nice and heavy. So we can see here that Ravenna used to be a major yard back in the day. This would have been a coal yard, and L&N actually kept many units here. In fact, you can see here they've always had a shop here, but CSX rebuilt it in the 80s when CSX was first formed. And really, you could see a mix of just about anything from Dash 7s to maybe even U-boats if you were lucky. As for EMDs, you could see stuff like Jeep 40s and Jeep 38s and a few Jeep 30s still running around. Because Chessie actually rebuilt some of their older C&O GP30s into what they refer to as Jeep 30Ms. I'm guessing that just meant they were rebuilt and they were up to Dash 2 standards, but I could be wrong there. I'm not sure. I may do a video on the GP30M another time, but so the EK yard used to be I'm just going to call it the Ravenna yard. The Ravenna yard used to be one of the biggest yards on the L&N system. So when I said something about a roundhouse being here earlier, I do believe I was right because we can see here that there's the foundation for where it would have been. It's been built over, so they've built over well, but you can see here this probably would have been one of the tracks that went to the roundhouse, but CSX primarily does not use this yard anymore. I think the only thing it uses it for is some run-through freight trains mainly, but that's really about all that's here. You'll be happy to know that the shops here have since been purchased. Well, nay, they were donated by CSX to the Kentucky Steam Heritage Corporation, and that is where, within a few years, you will see the following steam locomotives, but are not limited to: Chesapeake and Ohio 2716, a 484 Northern / Kawana type. Oh, darn it. Oh, Nashville, St. Louis, and something rather, 526, 576, I think, which I believe is a mountain type, but I'm not for sure. And XRJ Corman 2009, which is a 210-2 Texan, but it is referred to as the QJ class, which indicates that it is really a Chinese locomotive on where it was built. So don't give anyone grief, but I'm very thankful that this was purchased by the Kentucky Steam Heritage Corp, or at least arrangements were made to preserve it. But that doesn't mean they're going to happen yet, sadly. But I'm really thankful that it will be preserved, because I do remember as a little boy, I did get to see it run once, and it was quite an experience. It was on one of its runs back from Louisville. So now we can see here, this was taken in 1995, just the amount of traffic that used to run through here. All of these tracks through here were full at one point. We can even see here, well, it was built over at least sometime in the 90s, but we can get a better view here of the old roundhouse structure. It would have sat probably right here, and this may have been the turntable well. I'm not for sure though, but this is looking at it from 1995, so we move on up a little bit to 2000. Oh, well, we move on up to 2004. This is what it looked like. You can see it was very much mothballed. We go to 2008, similar. 2010, which looks very similar. And then we go to 2014, which is present date on where the photo was taken. But just the amount of trackage that used to be in here, if you go back to 95, it was just amazing. I was unfortunately not born in the 90s. I was born in the early 2000s. But I just really wish I could have seen this yard active. I know it must have been a historical place for a time for a lot of rail fans. The 90s was actually not a good time for railroads because actually the same year in 1995 saw the fall of the Burlington Northern and the Santa Fe, which were both merged into the now BNSF Railway. Um, what else happened in 1995? I do believe around that same time, possibly it was either 95 or 99, but I do believe that was also when the Southern Pacific fell. Um, but yes, 95 was. Um, I don't really know much about 1995 except for what I just told you. But anyways, thank you for tuning in to a Fallen Flags of America episode. I know you guys love this series, and I just wanted to say thank you for getting us up to 138 subscribers. Um, we need your support, guys, to get to 40,000 views. I know it's a lot. We're at 8,368 views right now, I think. But I would really appreciate if you guys could get us up to 40,000. It would do me a lot of favors. I'm hoping to reach 4,000. The reason I'm hoping to reach 4,000 is because that means through YouTube, according to YouTube, we are eligible to get sponsorship deals, which means we can make money and I can make all kinds of greater videos for you guys. I can upgrade my recording software. I can do all kinds of stuff to make this channel better, make this channel great. So I need your help, guys. Please help us. Please help me. I know you have done it. You have got us up to over 8,000 views. I can't thank you guys enough. I am just very surprised that this channel has made it this far, and it wouldn't be here without your guys' support. So thank you very much for that. Yeah, like I said, I didn't say this yet, but if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. As I stated earlier, please keep the comments civil. We don't need any inappropriate comments in here. That's all I ask. Just keep them appropriate. They don't have to be like child-friendly appropriate, but just so that there is not like any stuff that just someone will question. If none of that's in here, I'm fine with it. But anyway, guys, thank you for tuning into this episode of Fallen Flags of America. And like I said, the Ravenna Yard is probably one of the most saddest stories. But we can see here that looking toward what I can assume might be the west end of the yard, that it used to have a Y that came off here, and that has been ripped up. But thankfully, the rail and track has been restored, being used to restore the shop leading to the shop down here where the KSHC has their stuff. I do believe they have right now. They own the following right now. They have CNO 2716, Dixieland 574, and Norfolk Southern 6120, I think, which is an ex Norfolk and Western SD 40-2 low hood. Yes, you heard me right, low hood. It was one of a few by the Norfolk and Western to be ordered as a low hood. But yeah, the 6120, as the story on it, it was generously donated this year, mind you, by Norfolk Southern. As it was either going to be retired or scrapped. I don't know which, but if you pay attention to some of my other videos, I talk about that Norfolk Southern, dang it, has been getting rid of a lot of their Jeeps and some SD power in heavy numbers. I do know that a good portion of the I want to say they're FLCX or something like that. No, it was FURX, BN GP40s, or SD40-2s. A lot of those have went. They have sold a lot of the Southern Railway GP40-2s and GP38s. They have sold some of the ex Norfolk and Western SD40-2s and some ex Southern Railway SD40-2s, which has a lot of us rail fans sad. If you watch one of my good friends, Delay and Block Productions, they recently did a video, well, two videos on the Southern Railway Saluda Loops, which I have never had the opportunity to go to, and I really wish I could someday. Um, but yeah, one of my dream trips, guys, is to plan a trip out to um, Western North Carolina to document some action on the Southern Railway loops. Um, do some photography at Saluda, North Carolina, and document a portion of the Great Saluda Grade. Um, and probably do a bit of rail fanning in Asheville if there is any to do. Now, I don't really know what railroads run in the area out there. I do know that Norfolk Southern runs to Nashville, but Asheville, dang it, that they don't run very far west of Asheville. I do know they have a few um, customers they switch west of Asheville that take in, I think, wood chip cars and hopper cars, but other than that, that's all I know. But anyway, if you guys know anything or would like me to do a video on the Southern Railway loops, please leave me a comment down below, and I will try, or yeah, leave your request down below in the comment section, and I will certainly try and do that. If you have other requests on videos or places, routes, railroads, anything of that nature you want me to do, I will do that. Um, Probably next week's video we'll discuss probably the fall of the Great Rock Island. Rock Island Railroad / Chicago Rock Island and Pacific Railroad that ran from Council Bluffs, Iowa to, I think, Tulsa, Oklahoma. But I'm not, well, I know it ran to Tulsa, and they also ran out to Denver, Colorado, Pueblo, Colorado, and Colorado Springs, Colorado. But anyway, that's it for me, guys. If you have any questions, comments, questions, thoughts, or concerns, please leave them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer any questions. But anyway, that's it for me, guys. Have a good one. I'll see you later. Bye.